Hey guys, Trey Bender here with Program Stories, and today I'm sitting here with Peter Sizemore. So Peter, man, let's go ahead and get started. You actually were in the troubled teen industry for quite a while, from what you've told me.
Yeah, it was about December 13th, 2003 to what was it, April of 2005.
Geez, man, you were in there for a while. All right, so let's start from the beginning. Where was your first time, and what exactly happened with that?
So I'd been expelled from school, ended up running away, just for I was just a kid.
Gotcha.
But my parents must have ended up found out where I was at. I was over at my friend's house, and one morning, it was probably about 5. It was early in the morning. It was probably about 5 o'clock. I got woken up by these two guys. They slapped me on the face.
Oh shit.
And they told me it was time to go.
Oh man.
They told me it was time to go. And it really scared me. So I tried to get away, and we got in a little scuffle. They ended up putting me in handcuffs. Like my friend's sister came out, she started screaming, and like my friend's parents were there. They were like crying and stuff, and I just didn't know what was going on. They told me to be quiet, and put me in a car. And we just started driving north. So I was in Coos Bay, Oregon, and we drove for like probably about 3 hours. The whole time I was in handcuffs. They drove me up to Albany, and that's when we went to they first took me to a hospital, told me I needed to get a physical, and I wasn't cool with that.
All right.
The cops ended up coming up, and then they brought me up to which was the Catherine Freer building. I didn't really realize that at the time, but I ended up in a room. There was all these kids with their families, and my parents were sitting over there. And at the time, like I was just focused on letting them know I was basically flipping them off.
Yeah. Sounds like something I would have done at that age.
Right. But ultimately, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on, and I didn't really realize what was about to happen. And next thing you know, all the parents get up and they leave, and the kids get taken in the basement, and they start giving us like wool liners, boots, like clothes for like cold weather.
All right.
And then they put us on a bus, and this whole time I still don't know what's going on. And they told us all to be quiet, and we drove a while. So by that time it was late in the evening, but we ended up in La Grande, Oregon, which is in Eastern Oregon. And this is in December, so there's snow out, and there's like this snow machine. It was like a bus almost, and they put us all in there, and this guy just drove us like way up in the mountains, and then when he stopped, they gave us these snowshoes, and we hiked for about 2 miles, and then they told us to set up this tent and go to sleep. And
okay, I gotta ask, the whole time this is happening to you, what are you thinking? Like, are you scared? Are you in shock?
A little bit of both. The whole time, like I'm trying to figure out, like I'm like, were we going to like we're going to like a camp, right? We're going to like a cabin or something. I didn't know we had these things called mids. So it was like a tent, but there's no bottom on it. You put a board on the snow with a pole, and you like slept on top of the snow. You had like a sleeping bag and everything, but yeah, we did that for 21 days. And then you don't know how long you're going to be out there. And the last 4 days of it, they separate all the kids. So like you're nowhere within a mile of anybody. and like, they leave you there for 4 days.
Like they just left all the kids. Like,
well, I mean, they say they come check on you, but ultimately you don't see anybody for like 4 days. So like you're completely by yourself.
Okay.
And then, well, anyways, after that, I got approached by a couple of the staff members, and they told me that I had to do that again. So they took me, they took all the kids out. They all went their separate ways. They took me to a laundromat. I stripped down to my underwear. They threw my clothes in the washer. Then all of a sudden I was back up in the same room with another group of kids. I walked over to this table of food and started eating it, looking at the kids like, you guys want some of this? You know,
hell yeah, man.
They didn't know what was going on. And then next thing you know, I'm back out in the woods again, doing it again. And so it wasn't as tough the second time, but still, like, I'm still just wanting to go home.
Yeah, I get that.
After my second solo, that was where you're by yourself for 4 days. I got approached by 2 staff members again, and I started seeing where I was going, and they told me that you're not going home. You're going to Bridges Boys Academy.
Okay, so tell us about Bridges Boys Academy. What is Bridges Boys Academy? Where is that? And why were you going there now instead of home after 2 stints in a wilderness program?
Well, like, honestly, I don't really know why I'm going home. Or why I didn't go home. I'm just assuming it's because the counselors probably told my parents that I needed more therapy or something.
Okay.
But that it was outside Bend, Oregon, so it's about 14 miles away from Bend. You know, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And I really wasn't happy with being there. And I don't know, there's probably about, how many people were there? There's a little around 25 people there. You know, it was a smaller facility. But about 2 weeks after being there, I decided to run. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know where I was at, and walked along the highway, quickly got picked up, and they took me to jail, and then they brought me back there.
Oh, wow.
And well, I mean, this whole time, like, I'm just mad at my parents, you know, mad that I'm not at home.
I want you to know, man, I can relate to that. I was
right,
very much in the same boat.
Right. Well, so I turned wait, no, by this time I turned 16. I already turned 16 out in the woods. So I'm at this place. I'm pissed off because I missed my birthday and everything. And, you know, but I got caught when I ran from there. So I decided we need to plan this one out. And there's probably a group of 5 of us.
Okay.
We all weren't happy with being there, and we basically got to the right levels to where we were stocking up on food because we had jobs in the kitchen. We got our clothes, our street clothes, out of the storage, and you know, we basically just got prepared to run and planned it all out.
All right, I kind of like where this is going. Keep going, man. I want to hear this.
So it took a few months of planning, but when on my first town visit, so when my parents come to visit, they took me into Bend.
All right.
And the whole time I was going into Bend, I was looking around for landmarks to find my way. And, you know, told them we did a lot of hiking, so I need some boots, and just got the proper gear for walking right through the desert. And that's everyone sort of chickened out, because that night when we came back from my town visit, me and this kid Adam, that was his name, but
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
we were the 2 ones who actually ran, and we followed a blinking red light that was up on top of a radio tower and walked right through the desert.
What state was this in?
In Oregon.
Okay.
They got like a high
desert in Oregon.
They got a high desert over there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I never
mean,
knew Oregon had that.
Well, it's not like Arizona or nothing, but
Okay.
you know, it's still a desert. You got wolves out there and everything, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of scary, but we made it into Bend. We were actually the first ones to actually make it from that place. You know, we were the first ones to be run directly from that place to make it away.
All right.
But what happened was we didn't have no one to come pick us up, so we were just walking around Bend, and we approached these people, told them that we had car trouble and got stuck in Bend, and we were trying to you know, get some help, and they told us about this hostel, so that's what we were trying to get to. And eventually this cop drove by us, and my friend kept walking, and he ended up getting picked up, and I took off into this park, hitting this porta potty for about 45 minutes and kept on going, you know, at this, and eventually I found this hostel we were looking for. I went and knocked on the door, and they answered the door. There was a door behind me, so they walked behind, closed that door, and then this person held up my picture. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And they said, well, you want to come inside? And I was like, I thought you guys were a hostel. And they said, well, we used to be a hostel, but we're programmed for runaway kids at this point. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of weird. So I said, okay, I'll come. Yeah, they had my picture.
How did they have your picture?
I don't know. I guess because I mean, usually when people run from this place, because it's out in the middle of nowhere, kids get picked up because they walk along the highway because it's kind of scary.
Okay.
You know, so I guess, you know, they knew we ran, so they sent pictures out. I mean, there's like an APB on us or something.
Okay.
Yeah, but I told them, I said, well, they said, what did they tell me? They told me we can either call the cops and they can come get you, that we'll call your parents and we'll figure something out. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I told them, well, let's call my parents. And we did. Went in there. I told my parents, I said, I'm not going back there. I want to come home. You know, I'm not going back there. And they said, okay. And we got off the phone. These people made me a sandwich, and I just sat there. And then the transport people came and got me again.
Oh, man.
And then they took me to Gladstone, Oregon, to this place that was completely locked down. Like, it had recycled air, magnetic locking doors. You never go outside.
Wow.
And I was there.
But you escaped. You escaped twice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
nice.
So I guess they sent me to this place that was completely locked down, and it was just a short-term program, but it was basically to find out where to send me.
Okay. How long were you in the lockdown? Like, how long were you inside before you went outside next?
I was there for 30 days.
30 days before you went outside again.
Yep. And see, this place was co-ed. So you had boys and girls there, but I don't know, it was more like a psych ward in a way.
Okay.
I remember we were doing this we were doing what would we call it? Something where you had to close your eyes. It was some trust.
Okay, like trust fall or something.
Yeah, sort of like that, but involved closing your eyes. And this one kid thought it was funny to get really close to my face, and I didn't like that.
All right.
So we ended up getting in a little fight. But what happens when you get in a fight at this place is they take you into separate rooms, and then they strap you to a table and leave you there for like 2 hours.
Oh wow. Was chemical restraint used in this?
Not in that, but they use that at the next facility I've been to. But
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I definitely want to hear about that. But keep going. You got thrown into this quiet room, I guess.
Yeah, they put you in a room by yourself. They strap you to your tables, so you got your arms and legs, and you got like 3 or 4 different straps going over there, and they leave you there for a few hours. So you're completely restrained. Yeah, I don't know, that place wasn't like too bad, but it, that's not fun. It's not fun at all. It doesn't really help
at all.
It doesn't help anything.
All right, I want to ask you this though. I want to ask you this. If it was like a psych ward, were there like crazy kids there? Like, what did you see the kids doing?
Honestly, I couldn't, remembering all the kids who I was there at that place, I wouldn't really say that any of the kids were actually crazy.
Okay.
Like they were just normal kids who like had problems, and for some reason their parents ended up sending them there.
Gotcha.
They're just kids who maybe smoked some pot or got caught having sex or something like that.
So basically normal things that teenagers do, huh?
Yeah, but nothing that would deserve that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So you were there for 30 days. So what happened when you got out? Did they just walk up to you one day and say you're leaving, or did the escorts come? Or
no? The same people came. The transports came and they said hello again. By this time we already know each other. They knew you
pretty well by this time, huh? Wow.
Yep. Well, they took me to Portland Airport and put me on a plane.
All right.
And then they flew me to Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm assuming they sent me to Utah because I ran, and they figured the farther they'd send me away from home, that maybe I'd stop running. Well,
hey man, I think you did what, you were in a bad situation and it triggered a fight or flight response. So that's why you ran, man. There's nothing, that sounds totally normal to me. Nothing out of the ordinary there.
Well, because I don't know. So when we get to this airport, they drive us down, and I remember when we pulled up to so Provo Canyon School.
Yeah,
it's separated into 2 facilities. Right. So in Orem, Utah, there's the girls' campus.
All right.
And in Provo, Utah, there's the boys' campus, and they each got probably about 110 people in there. And then at the girls' campus, they also have a young kids unit.
All right.
That's boys, but they're like anywhere from 5 to 12.
All right. So you're talking like young kids, man.
Yeah. And when they turn 13, then they move them to the boys' campus.
Okay.
And it's just wrong, because the whole thing about Provo Canyon School, the best way to describe it is it's like a privately owned prison.
Gotcha. So I want to talk about Provo Canyon School, man. Tell me about it. Was there like a level system? What kinds of punishments did you see? And especially, what are some things that happened to you while you were there?
All right. So yeah, they got a level system. And so the majority of the other 2 places I was at, they had a level system too, but I'm talking like they got like 3 to 5 levels.
Gotcha.
The Provo Canyon School, they have a level system. I don't even know how many levels they had, because they're geared up to hold people until they're 21. Like
so the system is designed for you to fail. So it's designed to where if you actually can complete this, it's going to take you a long, long time.
Yeah, like they had like 21 different levels.
Wow. And I take it the staff didn't make anything easy there, did they? No.
And they got different laws in Utah.
I know.
Or they did at when I was there. Like so there are these big Tongan people. You ever heard the island of Tonga?
No, I don't think I have.
They were converted by the Mormons. So for some, I guess that's why there was a bunch of Tongans there, but they're big people.
Oh, okay. I believe I think I can picture what they would look like. Now that
but anyways, I recall seeing these Tongans like straight hit kids,
Whoa.
punch kids. If you resisted too much, they all had next telephones. They call in to dial 9, and that means like a staff from each unit would come running, and then they'd dogpile you. They'd punch you. They'd try and restrain you in any way. And if you kept fighting, then they call up a nurse, and the nurse would come in and they'd give you the booty juice.
Oh wow.
So they would. No, I never got that, but I seen it happen in front of me. You know.
Did you ever see anybody who was like seriously hurt after these people would come in there and dogpile them or hit them or what?
I mean, me personally, I never seen anyone like physically hurt, but I know that it happened.
Gotcha.
I know, but really, I think the trauma that would happen would be more severe than any physical thing that could happen.
Gotcha.
These units, well, so the program's set up to where you got these different units. So there's probably like 7 units in the facility, and then in each unit there's like probably like 6 rooms, and then in each room there's like 5 kids. And so if one kid in those rooms isn't doing something right, like folding their socks, you know, you got to fold your clothes a certain way, and if you're not doing that right, the whole room gets punished. Like so
yeah, I remember that.
So you got group punishments. And
yeah, we had that where I was at too. Group punishment was big at first, but then they said, "No, we can't be doing this."
I mean, it's not right because they leave the punishments up to the kids. You know, because in that sense, because of group punishment, I mean, and I took place in one of those where we ended up blanket partying this kid. Wow. You know, because he wasn't folding his socks right. And that's not right. You know, we shouldn't have done that, but that kid shouldn't have deserved that either. You know, but the facility put us in that position. You know what a blanket party is?
Yeah, I know exactly what a blanket party is.
Yeah, it's where you pull your sheets down and you hit them with soap and socks.
I know what that is.
Yeah, it's not right, but so when that whole situation happened, we ended up getting in trouble for it, and I ended up they have a long-term unit, so it's a unit in itself, and when you wake up, you go and sit in a desk and you stare at a wall.
Okay.
All day.
What were you fed while you were doing this?
What?
What did they feed you while you were staring at this wall?
Well, that's the only time you could talk is like you'd be able to go to the cafeteria and eat, but everyone in the unit has to sit at the same table, and you could talk then. But then other than that, you can't talk any other time.
Gotcha.
And then you go back and you stare at a wall again. And this unit, I mean, it was filthy. Like
I believe it.
You'd wake up and look at the walls, and there'd just be bodily fluids all over it and all different kinds. And and that they also had the solitary unit or rooms in there.
Okay.
So like if you got the booty juice, or if you were freaking out and they needed to, I don't know what, they'd put you in this room, and there'd be like a concrete floor, and there was like a drain in it, and then a really thin mattress, and they leave you there for at least like 24 hours.
All right.
Right. And it was when I was in that unit, I got approached by a staff member, and he actually came up to me and he said, he just said, why don't you just tell them what they want to hear? And I'm all thinking about it. Like, wait, what? And he's like, your parents, why don't you just tell them what they want to hear? and I thought about it. I'm like, huh, so at my next therapy session, I picked up the phone and this whole time that I'm in this place, all the way from the beginning to then, like I'd just been telling my parents to F off.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I can relate to that. Definitely can. That's kind of how I was back then.
Right. Well, this time I picked up the phone and all I said was, "Hey, I'm sorry, I love you."
All right.
And I was home in a week and a half.
That quick, huh?
That quick, and really, honestly, it was the worst lie I ever said.
Why is that?
Well, because all that stuff happened, about 17 years ago,
Yeah.
And I guess when I came home, I guess my parents thought everything was taken care of because we just didn't talk about it.
You know what, man? That's kind of what happened to me when I got out of my program. We didn't talk about it. It was just kind of
right.
Let's just kind of forget about that and move on.
Right.
But so, it still kind of came up every now and then, that's for sure.
So because of that, I see my friends again, and I'm trying to tell them this story.
Yeah.
And they just can't relate to it. So,
yeah, I've encountered that a lot too.
And you just sort of quit talking about it. And then it gets repressed. And I remember just always feeling like what's wrong with me? Like, why? When there's nothing wrong with me. I was traumatized. And that's what I'm dealing with now. It's like I got like the CPTSD. I got a problem with authority. I got hypervigilance.
Hypervigilance. I get that.
I have absolutely no relationship with my family. And I'm probably gonna have these problems for life.
I get that, man. I get it. What other ways has your time in the troubled teen industry really affected you as you went into your adult life? Did you ever go to jail? Did you ever go to prison?
Yeah, I haven't been to prison yet. Hopefully never. But
I hope never to. I hope never to.
See, like when I was, that's the difference is kids who get sent to like an OY or like a youth authority, they usually committed a crime to get sent there.
Yeah.
Where like what happened to me, like I remember, and it was like I was just a kid, it was something like my grandma died, and it kind of upset me, and my parents just never talked to me about it. So I acted out a little bit in school, but I don't think that deserves everything that happened to me.
No.
And now it's like virtually impossible for me to have a normal relationship with anyone. I have these trust issues, and it's just I'm always thinking someone's out to get me, even though I know no one is.
Yeah.
The whole it was just traumatizing altogether.
Gotcha. I want to ask you about your time in Provo. You had said like a therapy session. Did you have a therapist who was assigned to you? Like he made decisions for you, or what?
Yeah, I had a therapist that was assigned to me, but we found, he wasn't licensed.
What a shock.
A lot of the, he didn't have no credentials. He didn't have no experience or anything to relate to me at all. Actually, matter of fact, I think the majority of the staff there, like, I don't think there's any background checks or anything.
It wouldn't surprise me. So would you say that any of the staff working there had any education at all, or would you morally just say they just found somebody off the street just to fill a spot?
Yep. They found someone off the street, almost like. or they tried to get college students or something.
Gotcha. Or Mormon missionaries?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I want to ask you this: during your time in Provo, was the Mormon faith ever pushed upon you?
It wasn't necessarily pushed upon you, but it was definitely there.
I gotcha.
There was definitely this aspect, almost like well, because you're not from there, you know, you're not a Mormon, so you're not like, almost like they're better than you in a way, or like they know something more. I remember that. It was just they just treat you differently, almost like you're lesser.
Mhm. While you were there, would you see very young? You said like once kids turned 13, they would be moved over to the boys' side.
Yeah.
Like that?
There was a like there are kids who are like maybe even younger than 5. You know, I don't even know why they would be there. Obviously,
Can't
because
imagine that either.
probably because their parents are rich enough and just don't want to deal with them. And but yeah, if they're there long enough and then all of a sudden they turn 13, then all of a sudden they move them from the girls' campus to the boys' campus, and that's not right.
And no,
You
not
know,
at all. Well, I want to ask you this: when those younger kids came in like that, would you say that they were easy targets or what?
yeah, I mean, you're talking like a kid who should be in elementary school, and then all of a sudden he's around like, I mean, this place in Provo, yeah, there are kids there who committed crimes, the kids there who really hurt people, but then there was also normal kids. But then you had like, I mean, that's no place for. I mean, there should be no young kids there. Like that's
That's,
just wrong. It's
yeah,
wrong,
that's wrong.
you know. And uh, like I remember one of the saddest things I ever remember was it was at the other place in Bend, and
Okay.
there was this one kid. He was the youngest kid who was there. He was probably about like 12, but he was also the kid who's been there the longest. He was there for like 4 years, and
Wow.
and he was from, and his parents were from Roseburg, Oregon, and never once came to see him.
Never
Like
once.
never once came to see him. And so there's probably a lot more instances like that where you just got parents who, and it's like I try not to think like the parents are like really messed up individuals. Like that could be the case, but I think it's more like these programs got these like educational consultants who
Yeah.
like they basically come and scare your parents into thinking that oh, if you don't pay for these services or send your kid here, they're going to end up dead or in prison. You know, but I don't see that applying to like an 8-year-old or like
I can't
a
see that
12-year-old.
applying to some kid like that age either.
I
But
don't really see that
upon these parents.
yeah, but that's what happens is because these programs make like so much money off of scaring people's parents and ruining lives that I mean, it's sickening, you know, because what was about to happen to me before I lied to my parents about loving them and being sorry, because what happens at Provo is they say like, well, your child seems to still be acting out, and for $30,000 more, we got this program that will that will be able to adequately help your child, and that's when you get sent out of country.
Really? To a place called what?
Tranquility Bay or Casa by the Sea.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. I got threatened with Tranquility Bay all the time.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was going through there, I got threatened with Tranquility Bay a lot. And I've met people who've been to Tranquility Bay.
Yeah, I met someone from there too. Actually, I've no I know about 4 people who can relate to my whole situation. I met one person who went to Casa by the Sea. I met somebody who went to Tranquility Bay who actually escaped from there and got sent back. And then I actually somebody who I went to Provo Canyon ended up moving to where I live now. But other than that, there's really nobody out there who can relate to your situation. Like I
Not at all.
completely did not have a normal childhood. Like I've never been to a dance. I've never been to a prom or a football game.
Wow.
You know, all I've had was like this. So sort I don't know how to put it. Sort of turned me into a sociopath
Really?
in a way.
Well,
You know, I mean, maybe that's not the word, but I don't know. It definitely didn't help me.
I don't feel like any of these places actually helped anybody, and anybody that says that they were helped was clearly brainwashed by that system.
Right. And that's the sad part about it is each facility, if your parents came to visit, they'd have you deep clean the whole place, clean up everything, make it look nice.
Yeah.
And then they tell you not to.
I saw that too. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hey man, that happened a
tell
lot
you not
where I
to.
was at too. And I remember one time somebody stood up and asked, literally asked, hey, how come whenever the parents come, this place is like cleaned up real nice? Why can't it be clean like that all the time?
Right. And it's it's because that's where all the money's coming from. It's from these people, kids' parents. And they remind the kids, they say, don't bother telling your family anything. Don't bother telling them about anything that goes on here because they're not going to believe you.
Yeah.
I remember being told that, and you know,
I got told that same thing.
You're sort of sitting there thinking, no, they'll believe me, but they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
My parents to this day still don't believe me. My parents to this day still, my mom can't even say that she's sorry. Or even admit that it happens. Instead, they like gaslight me. Like make me think like I'm remembering it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Or that you imagined it and that really didn't happen. That kind of thing.
And actually, it almost makes you think like, wait, am I remembering things wrong? But I know I'm not, you know. And it was a trip because me and my friend, we were walking around. We were actually in jail. We were walking around, and this was only a couple years ago. And then also up on the TV, there was like Paris Hilton up there, you know, because and she was talking about, this is right before a documentary came out, and she started talking about because she was at the girls' campus like a few years before I was, and she started talking. My friend all looks at me and he's all like, "Whoa, like you're telling the truth about them stories." Yeah, it's just sad because like it's just really lonely living this life.
I can relate to that, man. I can. I probably didn't have it quite like you did, but I can still relate. I get it.
Right.
I get that. Is there anything of all the places you went, of everything that happened, what stands out in your mind the most? Like, what is something that you just can play over in your head like a movie and remember? What would that be?
Probably it would be the when I first got taken.
Gotcha.
That moment, being out in the woods, and then probably being in long term at Provo, and then running. That one was I mean, those are the four main situations that probably I remember the most.
Gotcha.
They're probably the most traumatic.
Mm-hmm. Have you struggled with PTSD?
Yeah. And see, the thing is I didn't really realize that I even had it until probably a couple years ago, you know, to where not realizing it, I ended up probably because I didn't realize my problem, or it's not a problem. I didn't realize that I had PTSD. I ended up probably treating people who were close to me probably well, in the wrong way.
I understand.
And you know that, yeah, so you know that part sucks, but it just sucks having people to just not understand what's happened to you, or like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Peter.
Yeah.
Before we end this, I want to ask you one last thing. If you could talk directly to the owners and the people who've been profiting off of these schools and the people who own Provo and ran Provo Canyon School, what would you say? You could talk
probably
directly.
wouldn't be appropriate for the show, but no. No, I'd tell them shame on you.
You say it as however you feel like you need to say it, Peter. It is okay.
Okay. I really don't know if I just asked for like 5 minutes alone with them.
I can get that. I can definitely get behind that. Let me tell you about that. Anything else you want to add, man?
No. I mean, I could say thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate that. That's it's really cool being able to like get a chance to like get my story out there, and I'm sure it helps other people out. And I'm sure there's other people out there who want their story said too. You know, because I know it makes me feel a lot better. It makes me feel like I'm being heard. So I like to thank you for what you're doing.
I appreciate that. And you know, Peter, I really wanted to hear your story, and thank you for being strong enough to come on my show and tell your story. So
yeah, no problem.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it.
All right, guys. Trey Bender, Program Stories, right here with my main man, Peter. Thanks so much.
Okay, have a good one.